updated version of my satellite video. There's the dish that you've seen. Take a look at the street here. I'm standing perpendicular to it, and between me, the street, and this dish should form a perfect rectangle. Let's take a look at this. You'll notice the angle that it's at, and like I did before, I came back here. You'll see it's kind of shooting, looks like right in between the house and the garage over there across the street. Now, I went on the internet and I found a tower, probably about 3 miles away. All right, and what I'd like to do is get someone on the 4th of July to shoot say a rocket or something up in the air right next to that tower. That's going to be a little bit of a problem getting done, and I'll explain that in a little bit. All right, here's where all the towers are located in my area, and as you can tell, there's a bunch of them. The one I'm interested in is this one right here, and it's owned by US Cellular. Well, if I zoom in here, the satellite dish is sitting right about here, and as you see, there's a nice angle, almost the same angle. Let's actually switch over to satellite. Okay, here's where the dish is. Let's take a look at that. Okay, here we are. You'll see a fence here now, because this is a very old picture. You figure satellite imagery would update more often than it does, and this is at least over a year old. But the dish is sitting here, and if you remember, she was shooting right between the house and garage. So let's back up. A little more, and there's the tower. It looks like it's shooting straight at it. Let's take a look at this tower. Now, the problem that I was talking about before with having somebody launch a rocket on the 4th of July is this tower is located right next to the police department. See the tower there, but what I'm thinking I could do, if we just go straight up, there's a bar over here, there's a nice open field right here, and if I can get somebody to launch a rocket right there, that I might be able to see it from where that dish is sitting. And that dish is sitting right here. Alright, here's my other neighbor's satellite dish, and it's pointed approximately the same angle as the other one. And even if I did the experiment and I got someone to launch a firework down by the police department and say it did line up with the satellite dish, I'm not saying that that's how it's receiving the signal. I don't know for sure, but it sure does seem suspicious. There was a comment by someone that said there was a woman living in Kavik, Alaska, where I pounded this nail, and she actually had to bounce her signal off a bedrock to reach a satellite. I found that a little interesting, seeing how satellites are 22,000 miles in the air. Well, if you're using a globe that's 12 inches, 22,000 miles in the air would be about 33 inches. So I drilled a hole through the equator of my globe and I shoved a rod through it. And that rod sticks out 33 inches. So that's the distance of a satellite to the Earth. And if you look at Kavik, straight down there, you can see about half of the rod. So the curvature of the Earth should not affect a satellite that's up that high. Now on my channel, if you look at some of the comments here in Hawaii, they point their dishes to the east. Very sad. No planet, no orbit, no satellites. Here's another one. My dish points northwest. I'm in central Ontario, Canada. Ours here in north of New Zealand are pointing almost straight north. Set mine up myself. It's only about 17 degrees above level. Alright, one more. Satellites don't exist. It's all old-fashioned triangulation systems. Alright, the problem I have with satellites and dishes is if you're going to try and adjust this dish to hit something the size of a van that's 22,000 miles up in the air off the equator, and you move this just a hair going all this distance, would you say you'd miss this by maybe over 100 miles? Now, the only way this could be possible is if this sent out a really wide signal to here. These don't have any fine adjustment screws on them, just regular screws. Now, when you think about buying a dish, this satellite doesn't know where that dish is. And this dish don't know where that satellite is. So you're supposed to find this sweet spot from all that distance. That's kind of like threading a needle across the room. Now, if there was a tower right here, say within 3 miles, I'd say, yeah, if you're off a smidget, you could find it more easy than being all this great distance. Not to mention, the equator is moving around 1,000 miles per hour and 22,000 miles up in the air. This satellite's really cruising around the world, and yet it'll hold dead on balls accuracy to your dish. I just don't get it. That doesn't make sense to me. Now, for you people out there, the experts that study this and you understand it, maybe there's some kind of test you could do where you can actually confirm these things are out there. Is there something you could think of that would actually confirm these are up there? A different type of test, maybe? Now, I'm going to do a test with a cell phone and a GPS, just to try and confirm satellites are out there. And I don't even know anything about these. So if you guys could figure out something just to verify it, that'd be great. Now, if you spend a lot of time learning about these, whether you've been to school, you studied all kinds of physics, you still have been told what was going on. Do you know from personal experience this is what's been going on? Or is it because you've got so much education, they told you so well what's going on, you fully understand it?